So let's go on to the personal tax bands and allowances. There was some good news. See, it's not all bad news. Give it half an hour, as I say. So, there is an issue. Scotland, they voted to remain in the UK, but they have new powers in relation to taxation, and those powers will not form part and parcel of this presentation. There is a minimum they have to work to, but they do have an allowance to do things. But as I say, it's not going to form part of this presentation. But for those born after the 5th of April 1938, your personal allowances are going up. Currently, £10,600 tax-free, not bad. Next year, £11,000, even better. The following year, £11,500. You're getting something for nothing, he says with a smile on his face. You're probably not, but you never know. By May 2020, the golden egg of £12,500 should hopefully be met. That's what they want, and that's what they said they're going to do. But from April 2016, there is one basic personal allowance for everybody. Age allowance has gone. It's taken a few years, but it's now gone. So it doesn't matter whether you're 80 or 15 or 16 or 17 or 30 or the magic 40. Remember the magic 40 at the moment? For some people, you're close to it, either side, and that will have an effect later on in the talk as well. Personal allowances are withdrawn if your income exceeds £100,000. It's a complicated way of doing it, but anything between, say, £100,000 and £123,000 of taxable income could give you an effective rate of 62%, with national insurance as well. So just remember that, because tax is obviously meant to be very, very simple. They are trying to simplify it. Tax bands. Okay, headlines, here we go. Higher rates. This current year, once you receive £42,385, you're a higher rate taxpayer, 40p in the pound. Next year, £43,000. Okay, you've got the tax rates in the book, so I won't go into too much detail with regard to these. 2017-18, we're looking at £45,000 before you start paying 40% tax. So the squeezed middle is just having the belt let out a little bit for you, which is really, really good. Professional commentary is saying, well, it's edging towards that 50,000 target, hopefully by 2020. You never know, it might be, but will the deficit be paid off by then? Will there be a surplus? They did do a review, and they are continuing to do a review of the cash economy. Okay, we all know it exists. We may have made advantage of it at some time or another. Of course we haven't, but we do know it exists. There are now two new allowances. Remember, tax is simple. Let's keep it very, very easy. You can earn up to £1,000 on property income and trading income. So if you wish, you've got a parking space on your front drive. You live near London, by the tube station. You can charge for that parking space by that tube station and earn £1,000, no tax problems. You can make things, you can stick it onto eBay, you can earn £1,000, no problems. Over and above that, you will be taxed. So, micro entrepreneurs, basically the cash economy. Let's have a recap on how easy personal tax is nowadays. Do we have many personal tax rates? Well, there is the zero tax rate, because obviously that's in your personal allowance. Then we have a 7.5% tax rate from April 2016 on dividends. Surprisingly enough, we have a 20%. We have a 32.5%. We have a 38.1%. We got the magical 40%, and obviously for all the millionaires in the room, we got 45% as well. So remember, they are trying to make it simple. So instead of just having a 0%, a 20% and a 40%, we've got a couple more just to add in on that calculation. Let's go on to farming situation. Again, let's simplify situation. Farmers averaging or creative artists used to have an averaging between 2 years. Very simple. I think we all understood it. Rules changed to simplify the situation. So they're going to remove marginal relief. They're going to replace it instead with a 5-year period. Let's not bother about 2 years. Last year, this year. Let's go for 5 years. I'm not quite sure how that simplifying thing is if you've got to look over a 5-year period rather than a 2-year period. But, you know, they tell me it's simplifying matters. So the old rules. You had to basically have less than 75% of the previous year's profits, or if your previous year profits were nil, you could average. It actually helped your tax payments and made your cash flow a lot better. That wasn't too bad, all done via self-assessment. The new rules, there is a condition. It's looking at the volatility condition. So, for a farmer to meet this condition, either the average of the first 4 years of the relevant profits must be less than 75% of the last year's relevant profits, or vice versa. Now we all understand this. I've got a few raised eyebrows already in the room. This is really good. Or any one of the relevant years is nil or a loss arises, with all the other conditions remaining the same. Farmers will retain the right to average over 2 years. So we've got, let's look over 5 years, or don't worry about that. Let's just do it over 2 years. Let's simplify taxation for us all. Clearly, that makes matters much simpler.